Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's TokiTV. I want to say good morning,
Bye-bye.
good afternoon, good evening to some of you, good night to some of you, like Pierre. It's past their people's bedtime, and they're still here with us. So you're going to hear more from Pierre in a little bit. Just real quick, Alejandro, good to see you. You were live today. Thank you for doing that. I want to hear more about that in a little while. Howard, thank you for being here every single week. Deb Cruz, the nodding Deb Cruz. And Roberto's here with us today. And I want to start with Roberto because, as you all know, each and every week we begin our show in prayer just to get us centered. And, every week we're here in faith, prayer, and education for Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut. Thank you for putting where you're watching from. Hello from Wales. Please do that. Type in your name. We have a really cool show for you guys today. But before we kick it off, Roberto, I would like to go to you.
Yes, thank you, Ned. Again, an honor to be invited here. So I'm doing this as it's called spiritual activism, which is prayer into action. So I just wanted to make sure that it's understood that it's not just about praying and wishing, but turning, seeking these forms of meditation and spiritual expression to unite our hearts and minds, because these struggles take time and can be emotionally exhausting. So this is just one form to refuel our delicate beings and connect with TokiTV, another expression of life, not just a well, but another expression of the big life. So I'm going to chant the mantra that I introduced like 3 weeks ago, and I'm going to place it here on the chat. I don't know if I can do that. It's Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. And for those who haven't heard it before, what it means is that we are connecting with the universal law of the universe, which is the law of cause and effect. So here we're making causes for TokiTV, for her happiness. And of course, her happiness is our happiness, just like her suffering also our sufferings. There's nothing disconnected in the universe. So I'm going to do this for an hour, and if I hope it doesn't sound too loud, the bell, it's actually this big one here, which goes in front of my altar, but I'll be doing this for a minute. You can keep your eyes open or closed, that's fine. But I would suggest to envision the best possible outcome for TokiTV. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, 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 Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, 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 Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, 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 Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, 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 Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, 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 Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And for those that don't know, Roberto, we, as you all know, Alejandro is at this aquarium each and every weekend, and he met Roberto, who sits quietly in prayer every single weekend for Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut. And, you know, we're all drawn to each other. Like-minded people are drawn to each other. And so, Roberto, thank you for being part of our team who, yes, and like you said, you know, spiritual activism. I mean, you pray and you do the work, and so thank you very much for your contribution to that, and your love for Toki as well. And speaking of Alejandro, how did it go today at the Seaquarium?
Yeah, I was there today. It was very hot, 95 degrees. I was in front of the stadium, and I encourage everyone to keep praying for her health condition. Hopefully, everything gonna be okay. I have this feeling into my heart. You know, every time I'm doing the Facebook Live, I put her image in my mind, and I visualize her just swimming in freedom with her mother, close to her family. So this is my, you know, just trying to send her positive vibes, you know, positive energy. She need to gain strength, you know. She need to be ready to make this trip and to make this dream come true, you know, everybody's dreams.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Howard, you've been spending some time seeing some of the whales out there, right?
Well, yeah, they have come by a few times. At least the transients. I haven't seen the residents. J-Pod was up around San Juan Island last week, and for more than a week, every day along the west side of San Juan Island, which was so refreshing. It's how it used to be. Before about 10 years ago, every spring and summer, and certainly every day in June and July, there would be residents, J-Pod, K-Pod, or L-Pod. And that has been very scarce because their prey, the salmon, the Chinook salmon that they depend on, have been so depleted in the inland waters as well as out on the coast. But there are more out on the coast, so that's where they've been to gobble down those Chinook. So it was great vicariously. You know, I didn't get to see them up close, but I read many, many reports, and the photographs and videos are just amazing. They're just so beautiful to see when they swim so tightly together. Most of the time, they have been way spread out because they're searching every nook and cranny for fish. But when they come together to socialize, as I believe they love to do, they prefer to be able to group together, tight together. It's a beauty to watch because they're touching each other as they swim. They swim as if they're holding hands. It's just beautiful. And I also want to mention that last night I had the incredible opportunity and privilege of seeing the Tiller's Folly, who are friends of mine who produced the beautiful song that we have posted. Many of you have probably heard it many times, called Bring Lolita Home. And they were in concert last night right here on Whidbey Island at our performing theater. And it was just beautiful. And Bruce Coughlin, who wrote the song, introduced it in a way that I have just never heard before. He wrote this song about 5 years ago, and when he was, it would start out, 47 years is a long, long time, and now it's 52 years is a long, long time. And he just reflected on what he has learned about orcas, that their family ties are closer. They're more attached to each other than even we humans are with our families, and that when they travel, they do come right together. I mean, it's amazing how close they are when they travel. And he actually became almost sorrowful. He was weeping basically before he sang the song. And then they launched into it. Bring Lolita home, sing Lolita home. And it was just a beautiful performance. So that was so uplifting and so emotional. So that's basically my news from here. Is Bring Lolita Home came to Whidbey Island last night.
That's really great. And one thing you said, Howard, is the photos and the videos. Speaking of photos and videos, we have with us a very special guest today. And Deb, I put in there somewhere in one of the banners, so we could put it somewhere, probably at the very bottom. But I'm just going to read you guys a tiny bit about Pierre. Pierre is the founder of USEA, and USEA is the Undersea Soft Encounter Alliance. It's a professional network for divers, diving centers, and operators choosing a unique methodology of soft encounter while responsibly interacting with marine mammals. I'll let him tell you just a little bit more about that, but Pierre is a world-class orca expert and a TEDx speaker on orca encounters. And he was the first man who snorkeled with orcas in Arctic waters, wearing a 5mm water suit. I don't know. I would freeze. But before we hear from Pierre, I just want to show you, let me just show you a little bit about Pierre.
Go.
Wow. Just wow. Everyone, join me in welcoming Pierre to the show. Pierre, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you, Annette. Thank you for inviting me take part of your show. It's very important for me to be there and to witness about the wild orcas. What is the life of the wild orcas compared to the captive orcas that we can are suffering in a tank? So yes, I had the chance to see orcas socializing underwater. I've been very sensitive about the words of Howard, witnessing the socializing of orcas, and it's even stronger when you can observe them underneath the surface. I could also see orcas feeding on the herring, and I started as a guest 25 years before, and I think that the boss of this company thought I was totally crazy to dive with a 5mm wetsuit So this is the reason why he kept me in the crew as a safety diver. And since 25 years, I had the chance to be in the water every time to guide the free divers, the passionate people who want to share this dream to see orcas underneath the surface. And year after year, I had this experience that I can share now to how to approach orcas, what are the signs, what are the body language of orcas that can indicate that they are okay for a visit, they are okay to interact, and also what are the signs, the body language of orcas when they are not okay. So then we have to respect the distance we want to keep. So all of this experience now I'm sharing within this network called USEA, USEA. And this is, yes, the Undersea Soft Encounter Alliance. And yeah, it's very important for me to share this passion, to share this knowledge, because I think that there is more and more people coming in the field to try to do that because it's very attractive. And if you don't use a good approach, you can, of course, disturb the orcas. And I think that the life in the ocean is hard enough for the orcas. We cannot be another problem for them. So we have to be patient, we have to wait, we have to understand them, to respect their needs of distance sometimes, and to wait until they are okay to include us in the social games, which is very emotionally very strong. Orcas are very emotional creatures. Now we know from the neurobiologists such as Lori Marino, she has scanned the brain of orcas, and she's also a part of the Whale Sanctuary Project. I have an amazing feeling with this woman. She's doing an amazing job. That we need to know more about the brain of orcas. We need to know more about their intelligence, about... I had the feeling, after being so many times with orcas, I have now more than 6,500 free dives with orcas. I have the feeling that they have knowledge, unsuspected knowledge. And we need to understand their language. We need to understand what is behind the secret of the language, because there is unsuspected knowledge. And we need also to protect the ocean, because orcas and humans, we are interdependent. When we damage their ocean, we damage our ocean. When we endanger orcas, we are endangering ourselves. And it's important to share this concern, to spread out this message that we need to protect the place where they're living. We need to protect the orcas, and especially this endangered population of southern resident killer whales. It's heartbreaking to know that they are starving to death. Now it's maybe 73, 74 orcas left in this population. It's really heartbreaking, because just for the lack of food. And we know what to do. But what are we waiting for? So, yeah, I'm here to speak about this conservation of orcas, and also to say that they have nothing to do inside the tank. It's something that comes obviously to you when you are in close encounter with orcas. They are made for freedom. They are enjoying life. They are, just socializing. They are playing. And this is something they are doing into the wild, and they can also include you in their games. And it's very strong emotion when you are a part of this moment. I have been only once, in the Marineland Antibes, to see Inuk, the male, orca male. There is 4 orcas in Marineland Antibes in France. And I will tell you, that was the saddest day of my life ever, to see these poor orcas. I have no words. And, they have nothing to do inside the pool. We must put these orcas in sanctuary now. We have to end up this activity. It has to stop. So it's even difficult for me to speak about that because emotions are coming back. And in one way, I'm speaking about free orcas and I'm smiling. And when I'm speaking about the captive orcas or the endangered orcas, I'm sad, really sad. I feel connected to these creatures, to these species, since a long time ago. I was not prepared for that, and I still have some question. I will always have question, and I'm really happy to have this show with some people representing the Lumi Nation, the First Nation, because I know that they are oriented to spirituality, and I know a part of the answer I'm still looking for are connected to spiritual level. And I've been once in British Columbia 3 years ago. I met the Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut people there. They were connected to Luna, the orca. And I will for sure come back in North Pacific in June 2023 because I want to meet the First Nation. I want to speak about the orcas. I want to know more about their legends. I need to get these answers that I still have in my mind. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Pierre. And you do have a unique look at it. So I think, we can go and we can, go on a whale watching boat, or we can, do what we can do to see the orcas. But you just said it. I mean, you've seen them while they're family bonding. You've seen them while they're eating. You've seen them. I mean, what has been your favorite experience being underwater with orca?
It's difficult to pick up one on 6,500, but I would say that, when you have a mother orca coming towards you, staying 5-6 meters away from you and milking the baby, and you see the baby orca milking on the mother, totally trustful, just, be okay with your presence, no stress. This is maybe the most beautiful encounter I ever had.
Well, I had the I don't know if you want to call it the pleasure to look at a lot of videos, and thank you so much for sharing all those videos that you did with me. I do want to point out Pierre's YouTube channel. You definitely want to go to the YouTube channel. I will put that here in a little bit. I had the website up a little bit, and we'll flash that again to see the videos. I'm not showing the YouTube videos during the show today, just because I don't want it to. Sometimes YouTube gets tricky and it'll take us off air if it thinks we're stealing someone's videos. So we'll put the link so you guys can do that. But Pierre sent me a lot of videos, and I will say that last night and this morning and I think Friday night, I mean, just going through that had me feel like I was there, and I had a really hard time to just pick a couple. But since I had that great pleasure to be able to watch all those videos, is it okay if I show a couple more and then we could talk about it? Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Here we go. This one, I'm just going to go with this one. This was probably my favorite one, and then you can tell us about it.
Yeah, they are talkative when they are hunting. And some words about this video. When I started Orca expedition, it was in the Tisfjord in the north of Norway, and the orcas, they were the only top predator for the herring. And a couple of years later, the herring changed the migration pattern and overwinter in even more north, further north. And then the humpback whale came and started to chase the herring with the orcas. And it was a very big disturbance for the orcas, because the orcas are using the carousel feeding. So they are pushing the bait ball up to the surface. It's a long process. And then they can feed on the herring at the surface. Okay. So they don't have to dive for one herring back to the surface. And when they did that, the orca, the humpback came below and grabbed the bait ball in 1 second. So that was a big disturbance. And in this video is the moment when I started to understand how the orcas have adapted the hunting strategy to avoid the disturbance of the humpback. Actually, they started what I call the rush feeding. Carousel feeding is static. The rush feeding, they move the bait ball at the surface all the time, like shepherd, you see? And then the humpback, instead of attacking from below, attack from the side, like this. And this is what you can see in the beginning of the video. And of course, the herring, they can spread out in front of the humpback and they gather again. And then the orcas, they can pick up the bait ball again and hunt on the bait ball. And the humpback miss each attack because, of course, it's much more difficult to attack a moving bait ball rather than a static one. So that was the proof that in 2 years, the orcas, they had invented this strategy and they have adapted their behavior to the presence of the humpback. And of course, I was almost kissed by the whale because I was right in front of the... Okay, they are so fast, you cannot predict where they are popping up. So
you've taken over 1,000 people on diving trips. Is that true?
Yeah, since 25 years, I think I have guided. I have not counted that, exactly, but probably more than 1,500 people in close encounter with orcas.
Wow.
With 95% success.
Wow. What do they all have a similar response? Are they just...
It's difficult. When I'm in the water, I feel like home. I swim like a seal. So some people, they are also very easy in the water, so they have good encounter. Some people, they are not easy. It's cold, very cold. It's dark. There is wind, waves, swell. So all the conditions make it difficult. And if you are easy in this condition, it's okay. You can swim freely. And I have met some good divers. But for most of the people, you have to swim in the dry suit, and with the buoyancy, you cannot move easily. So you cannot have the same swim, and you cannot have but anyway, the orcas, they come towards you. So they are making the interaction. Otherwise, if they don't want, you don't see orca. So most of them, they have great encounters. And, I used to say that I'm not happy when the people are leaving the expedition with a big smile. I'm happy when they are leaving the expedition with tears, Then I know that I have done a great job. But it's not for me. It's because of orcas.
Wow.
I'm just the connection. I'm not just the link between orcas and people.
That's amazing.
I just want to say thank you, Pierre. This is so fascinating. You are a window, a glimpse of their world, their undersea world, and you're bringing it to us. And it's just fascinating, every bit of it. And I see that you appreciate and respect them and their abilities and their choices. Their rights to be in those waters and be doing whatever they want to do and to relate to you in whatever way they wish to do, and you respect whatever it is that they do. You've said some very intriguing things here, very interesting.
Thank you very much. Very, very touching from you. You know, it's all about respect, Howard. It's all about respect, and it's the same respect we must have between humans. You know, you want something, but for this thing happens, you have to be two. If only one wants this relationship, it doesn't work. It's like a love story. If you want to be in relationship with someone and the other one doesn't want you, there is no relationship. Same with orcas. And we have to wait until they are okay. And this is the only way to get good interaction, emotional interaction. If you enforce interaction, you have no interaction, and it's very poor feeling. You have the feeling that you are stealing something. But when you are patient and you can wait until they are okay to give you, then it's a gift. And it's totally different. Then you appreciate it. Sometimes you have to wait the whole day, sitting in this boat, freezing the hell. And in 2 seconds, they can make you forget 1 week that was shitty. And, you know, you just open 2 seconds and it's done. You're done. So it's all about respect, and it depends on their willing, if they want to play or not.
It's clear you've learned much from orcas, so much over the years, and who wouldn't? But you've really taken it in and made good use of this knowledge. I feel like orcas make us better people. When we learn from them, we learn how to be better people. And I think you're a good example of that. You also said something that was interesting about unsuspected knowledge that they have, that you feel is there, you know is there, you're very curious about it, but what sort of unsuspected knowledge? What do you feel? Or is it when you see them, when you see their body language, and especially if you can see them looking, if you can see their eyes and see them inspecting you, or learning from you, assessing you, what do you think they know? What are they learning? What are they able to see? Do you have any thoughts about that? I don't think we can ever really know, but do you have any ideas?
Yeah. I start to have some idea, but the first thing you feel when an orca is looking into your eyes, you feel an amazing intelligence in this eye, and you no longer feel the cold or the pain or fatigue, just an overwhelming wave of emotion. And I think now, with the experience of myself and also collecting the experience of other people that have guided, that they are creating this emotion. If, I will say something about, and it's maybe connected to spirituality. I will tell you, I'm not a marine biologist. I don't have the background of marine biologist, but I'm a scientist. I have worked 30 years of my life in different laboratories in human biology, veterinary biology. So I know what is science. And my brain is totally, formatted and for science. But I had some experience with orcas. And this is the reason of the question I still have, and I need the answer, that science cannot explain. The science of today cannot explain this. So if I had an advice to the scientists, the researchers working in the sound of the orcas, trying to understand their language, if so far we have not cracked the code, it's maybe because they use the sounds for something else than communication. When we are speaking, we share a message. I share opinion, idea, we are debating, but we are producing sounds for sharing informations. And I think that the orcas, they can also use sounds sometimes, but not for information, for other reasons. And the feeling I have And the experience I can collect also from other people is that they can maybe, when they are socializing, use the sounds for sound massage or meditation or healing or something like that. You know, see the brain of a dolphin of an orca, much bigger than the human brain, more complex, more gerification inside, potentially more performant. They are transmitting their culture, their knowledge from generation to generation since millions of years. They are intelligent, they educate the pupils, the calf, sorry. I think they have accumulated the knowledge and they are transmitting the knowledge. And it's not a written language like a First Nation. You know, it's just transmitted from generation to generation. We have to go in this field. We have to understand their language to understand what kind of knowledge they have. Because if, like I suspect, they are able to heal themselves with sounds, and we can also heal ourselves with sounds. The sonotherapy is something that is used sometimes. The musicotherapy is used, and also the First Nation, the shaman, they were using the sounds for healing. The Tibetan bowl also can make some vibration that can resonate with some parts of the body. Imagine an intelligent creature. It would be surprising that they had not
Yes,
get this knowledge. You understand what I mean? So
I do entirely. Yes.
yeah, I think that we must go there. It's, for me, it's my quest. It's totally fascinating because now after 25 years, I have more questions than answers. And I know that I will not have the time to answer to all these questions. And it's a race against the time for me. But it's so fascinating.
Well, I think what you have just spelled out is a roadmap, a way to begin to understand what the sounds may mean, how they may be used. We need to greatly improve our understanding, our beginnings of a theory, of a way of looking at what orcas are able to do with their minds, with their sounds, with their communication, with their empathy, their greatly enhanced empathy, the paralimbic lobe in the brain, which we don't have, but dolphins and especially orcas have, that seems to give an ability to perceive within the brains of others, of other orcas and even other humans.
I
And
have to change. I have to change environment. So just continue, but don't be surprised if I'm moving because my
okay,
battery is very low. I have to connect my cable.
I see. Well, please do. Um, yeah, so I think what you've given us is a very expanded definition of what Orca language is. And that's what we need, because if we just think in terms of hearing information, that is so limited, and their sounds and their ways of communicating may be far beyond that, and much greater than that in terms of how they uh, how they relate to each other, what it is that they are sharing, what are they giving to each other, what kinds of sounds. You know, the Namyoto Renge Kyo is a cause leading to an effect. And so they are producing sounds, or and maybe beyond our range of hearing, they are producing vibrations or emotions, or in some way they are, creating uh, a communication of some kind, and that's a limited term, but they are able to relate to each other and share on, we could call it spiritual levels, emotional levels, just enhanced communication, enhanced relating. And I don't have words to describe it because it's beyond our experience, I believe. But I think you're helping to sort of lead the expansion of our definition of what that could be, to begin to be able to understand their communications.
Yeah,
So,
and also the feeling I have now after all of this is the science of today. Maybe one day the science will change. Science has always changed in the time. So we're going to have the tool to understand more about that. But the science of today cannot give any explanation. So we have to forget. I feel sorry to say so because I'm a scientist, but we have to forget what we know, what we think we know, and we have to be open to what we don't know. And it's terrifying for a scientist, you know, because you used to have a PhD to make a work to prove the science and the statistical and everything, and making article research work and everything to be always in a very good quality standard and published in the best magazine. I've been published in a good magazine also. I know how to do it, but what are the answers that it gives you? It doesn't give you any answer today because we don't have the tool and we don't have the brain for that. Look at the human brain. We are not made for that. So maybe with artificial intelligence, we're going to have something that can help the, lack of performance of our brain. Sorry to say so, because this is what I think. And to give us some answers about that and to give some keys. We need to take some shortcuts now, because the ocean, they are endangered, and we don't have the luxus of 50 years, because the ocean, they don't have 50 years in front of us. So we need to take some shortcuts. We need to stop what we are doing right now. We need to protect the ocean, to protect all the cetacean nation, and and that's it. I have no more message. This is going to be my message, and it will be my legacy. We need to protect the ocean.
I also want to thank you for raising the issue of the lack of salmon, the decimation of salmon populations here that is so affecting the southern resident orcas. That's a very pressing issue. And of course, salmon are a keystone. They are a sustainer of the oceans. If you increase salmon, you help to sustain the ocean. They are a vital part, the lifeblood, really, of the oceans and of the river habitats, and of course, of the southern resident orcas. So it is vitally important. I'm sorry?
We need to save this population. We cannot let this population be, because if this population collapses, it's going to be a huge loss, and it will not be a way back. It's going to be forever. Their culture, the knowledge will be lost. And I would add something about the salmons, because it has been told about the maritime traffic. It has been told about the dams on the Snake River. The fish farm also is damaging, but also one of the reasons is the overfishing of the herring, because the salmons, the salmons are eating the herrings. And of course, if you make the salmon starving, the population of salmons will collapse. Orcas, they need food, but the salmons, they also need food. So you also have to protect the fish stock and the herring stock there, in order to give to the salmons enough to have a big population.
Absolutely true. Yes, we have to protect the herring and the other bait fish that are around, the smelt, the sand lance, and other small fish. Absolutely, because they are the food for the salmon. And when the salmon come out of the rivers, they don't go immediately straight out to the middle of the ocean. They go along the shoreline into the protected areas to look for those small fish. And they are absolutely necessary in their nurturing, or in their time of that adaptation from the rivers to the oceans. So that's absolutely essential. But a big part of the key is the removal of those dams. those 4 Snake River dams. And this is a very key week, this week, up until July 11th, is a deadline for comments to our governor in Washington, Governor Inslee, and our senator, Senator Murray. They have prepared a report that is a little, I mean, it's a good report because it does say that removing the dams will increase the salmon. I mean, it's a simple equation, but it's definitely true. So they say that, but then they list all of the benefits of the dams, the irrigation, the hydropower, the transportation. But so it doesn't really come out with an action, and the action needs to be to remove those dams. So they are accepting comments on their draft letter until July 11th. And I have prepared one that is on, I put it as a comment, but I think I'll re-edit it for a post on the Lolita page, the TokiTV Lolita Facebook page, with a little more elaboration and background. But it's a very complicated issue, but it's also very simple. It can be boiled down to those dams need to be removed so that those salmon, especially the little smolts, when they come downstream, when they're stuck in 140 miles of stagnant pools, it's deadly for them. And that's what's decimating those populations. And that population, or all of those runs of Chinook salmon from that watershed, were a big part of the southern residents' diet, their dietary needs. So that really needs to be fixed. The dams need to come down. Those fish need to make it to the ocean, and there need to be the herring and all the other bait fish for them when they get there. So I mean, we need to pay attention to all of the nursery areas for all of those fish too. So I do want to bring that up. That we do have this. We're learning this empathy, this caring for the orcas, for what we need to do for them, because we know that they are very special. I mean, we just love them. That's all. I mean, that also is very simple, because they are just such magnificent, beautiful, wonderful animals, and they give us such pleasure. I see it all the time, all the time. So many people. I love reading about it and hearing people's stories from when they see orcas go by. I mean, just, at a distance. I mean, you see them up close and personal. You look into their eyes, and that is a beautiful experience. But even to see them from half a mile or a mile away, and you can see the way that they move and the way that they play and the way they relate to each other, and you can feel their grace and their power and their I don't know, highly streamlined, beautiful presence. It's just wonderful to see, and it brings joy to us. So we owe it to them to give it back. So
Deb just posted a link there for anyone who wants to go on there for the Lower Snake River Dam options.org, LSRD options.org, for commenting and to read that report. So thank you, Deb, for putting that, and thank you, Howard, for reminding everyone, because that's a week.
Yeah,
we're getting close. So just a little over a week. Speaking of the herring, I do want to get to a couple more videos, and I have a feeling, Pierre, that you're going to be in high demand to come back on the show soon, because an hour was not long enough. So we would like to publicly invite you in front of everybody to please come back and be with us soon, because it's not just, I mean, you have so much knowledge, you have so much experience, you have so much heart for the oceans, what you do. It's not just like, oh, I go and do these expeditions. I mean, you've just got so much depth to you that I know we didn't get to cover today. So I do hope that you consider coming back. I do want to show a couple more videos just because, and again, people, please go to the website. And so you can get the link to his YouTube channel as well, because I mean, the stuff he has is just amazing on here. Should I show some feeding or should I show some backflips, Pierre? What do you think I should show?
Choose for me. Choose for me, Annette. It's okay.
Here we go. Again, I could watch the videos all day, but we do try to keep the show to an hour. I think I might, after we say goodbye, just maybe show a couple of more for whoever wants to hang on past the hour, because it did have a couple of more loaded on there. I want to get to announcements real quick before we close. Peggy made a video and I was not able to load it. My fault, because I was kind of doing this last minute, but I do want to give a quick update on the letters of love for Toki. Peggy, there 2,200, I believe 2,200 art letters for Lolita have been collected and submitted to Mr. Elbor, the owner of the Dolphin Company. And Peggy would like to get to, let me try to take the banner off real quick. Peggy would like to get to 2,500. And so what she's doing is she's creating these worldwide parties. So if you want to host a party and have people do some art letters, this is the information. You can go to the Origami Whales Project site on Facebook and get more information. But this next weekend is when they are doing that and want people to participate. So again, we can get to 2,500 art letters. The video she made was really sweet. It had so many pictures from so many different schools and kids reading their letters in the video. So hopefully I can try to get that loaded for next week. But again, next week, if you guys can host an art party, an art letter party. She's encouraging people to, if you're going to do it by Zoom, put the link in their site on their Facebook page so people can maybe join in on your art party. And then she's also doing one in person. So that information, again, is also on the page. And we've shared that on the Lolita Tokitai page, and we will do so again so that you guys can all have that information. There are a lot of questions, and since we are here to meet about Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut every single week, people want to know if questions have stalled with the Seaquarium. Are they in conversation about releasing her? Well, I will say what I know, and that is that they are still weighing heavily on her health and waiting on the vet examinations. And as you guys have seen the report, I know it's frustrating to wait, and we don't hear for a month until the next vet report. But what I do know from listening to a few other people talking is that they are playing sounds from the Pacific Northwest for her, that they are in fact doing that. I don't believe they're underwater sounds. I believe they're just sounds from the outside speakers. And really hoping that that helps aid in her healing. I don't have specifics on, are they saying yes? Are they saying no? From what I've heard, they're just waiting on these vet reports to see how much better she can get. And I know we're all of the mind that she will heal faster when she's home. So we know that. People say, well, what can I do? What can I do besides praying? Write some more letters. Write some more letters to the mayor, to the county commissioner. And I think that, when we're writing these letters, I think we've all done that already in these emails. Put in the request in there, can we get more information? Can we, maybe not wait a whole month? I mean, I'm literally just talking out loud, but maybe we can get them to go in and just give us the status of how does she look? Is she interacting well? I mean, I know we have a lot of questions, so I encourage you, whatever questions you have, put those in an email, send them off to the mayor, to the county commissioner. We'll put the links in here again, if you don't already have them. And yes, continue to pray, continue to show up, continue to join us each and every week. And if you have suggestions on what people can be doing, let's have that conversation. That's why we have that group. Put your suggestions on there. If you want to send me an email, the information you want me to share on the show. I have a gentleman coming next week who's doing a lot of background work that we don't know about, just to support the Lummi and the people supporting the Lummi Nation. So send me emails, you guys. Send me emails if there's things you want me to share on the show, or if you would like to come on the show. Susan's asking, how is she reacting to her home sounds? I want to know that too. So let's get those emails going, respectful emails to be sent to try to get our questions answered. And, maybe we come up with something to where we do one big list. So if you have questions, I'll take them from here. I'll start collecting your questions, and maybe we can write one big letter. Again, I'm just talking out loud, but any suggestions are good. And I encourage you to share some of those. Before we close, Pierre, I do want to just, any final words, anything you want to say regarding Lolita, Tokita'i, Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut, and all her beautiful names and her return home?
Well, yeah, everything has been said. So we know she must go back in the ocean now, in the sanctuary. It's the best thing. We owe that to her. So now I will just thank you, Annette, for inviting me and permit me to share my passion, to share my vision of the orcas and my experience to your audience. So thank you very much, all of you guys, for being there for this nice talk. And it was a great pleasure for me. It was new. And sorry for this environment. I had to come back to my bedroom because I connect my power cable to my phone. I didn't have any battery enough for that, so sorry for that. And I will be happy to join you again anytime. Feel free to contact me, and I will take part of your nice show. And hopefully one day we're gonna talk about Lolita in a sanctuary, and then it's gonna be good news for everybody, all the orca lovers.
Well, Pierre, I'm hoping that when you come in June, that's already the case. And so,
yeah. I will not go in Miami, but I will go in Pacific West Coast, and I have something to do there.
Yes.
I must go back.
Yes, I look forward to seeing you. And I wanted to say, Alejandro, thank you for connecting us with Pierre. Just Alejandro is so awesome, and he knows everyone. And so thank you for sharing.
We will celebrate, Pierre. You have to come here to, with Lolita goes home. You have to visit us. We will celebrate.
Okay, deal.
Thank you. I hope you join again. Okay, many people love your experience. Okay, you have to come back.
Thank you very much, Alejandro.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Howard, any final words?
Just thank you, Pierre, and I do hope you can come back sometime, and I hope to meet you when you come out here to the Pacific Northwest when we go to visit Lolita Tokita'i Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut in her ocean home.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hopefully.
It's been a great program. We appreciate all your insights, and Good to meet you.
Thank you very much. Same.
And Roberto, any final words?
Just thank you again for the opportunity to share with all of you things that also feel close to my heart. So this is not every day. So I really appreciate this hour here. It's very special to me. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Deb, you want to wave? No, Deb won't want to say anything, but she'll wave at us. Thank you all very, very much. The shows, I don't know, we might need to start making the shows a little longer, but if you have to jump off, I understand it's recorded. It'll be on the Facebook page. I do want to just show a couple more videos, but I'm gonna say goodbye for now, and we will see you all next week. Remember, keep the prayers coming. Stay positive. We are going to bring her home. Thank you, everybody, for being with us.
Yes.